Hi, this is Trish with Decant Designs. Today we're going to make this cute little tote. I will give you all the sizes that you need for the fabric. There is no cost for the pattern, and so come along with me and sew. Here's what you need to make the tote. 2 pieces of fabric 16 inches by 8 inches, 2 pieces of fabric 16 inches by 10 inches, 2 pieces of fabric 4 inches by 40 inches, Pellon 987F fusible fleece 1 3/4 inches by 40 inches, 2 pieces of fabric for the lining. I just start with a square 21 by 21 inches and we'll trim it to the size after we've sewn the top. 2 pieces of Pellon 987S fusible fleece 21 by 21. Again, after we iron that on, we'll trim it to size. 2 pieces of fabric for the interior pocket 16.5 inches by 7 inches, and 2 pieces of trim fabric 16.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Let's make the straps for the tote. So we'll take our strap fabric, fold it in half, and press all the way to the end. Open it and then press the outer edges to the center. And do the same thing on this side. So I like my straps to feel thick, so I actually put fusible fleece inside. I cut it just under 2 inches. And we'll put this in. Okay. Then fold it in half like normal. And press all the way to the end. Now we're going to sew both sides of the strap, the open side and the folded side. So about 5/8 of an inch from the edge all the way down. Okay, so we have the nice seam there on both sides. And I don't know if you can tell, but the fusible fleece in there just makes the strap much more sturdy and more comfortable as well. So next, take the trim fabric, fold it in half, and sew the raw edge to the top of the raw edge of the top fabric. And then I did a top stitch about not quite 5/8 of an inch, just real close to the edge there, with a stitch length of 3. So do that on both top pieces. So next we're going to position the straps on the upper piece. It's going to look backwards and feel backwards, but it's really not. So 4 inches in with the right side facing down of your stitching, and then 1 inch above the top of the trim fabric there, I pin and clip. So we'll do the same thing on this side. And then I just pop a couple pins in here just for safety's sake, I guess, keeping it straight. And that is my puppy chewing his bone. I'm sure everyone will see lots of Quinder. He's always around us. Okay. So what we'll do next is take one of the bottom pieces of fabric. If you have directional fabric, make sure it's going the way you want it to go. I don't think this is directional. And just lay it on top. You can pin or clip. I choose to clip. And sew a 1/4 inch seam across the top on both pieces. So I probably cut the fleece too big, you see? And that's okay. So what I do is I just lay the tote pieces on top with just a little bit of the bottom hanging over, maybe a 1/4 inch. Then I trim it up the side here. Then I turn it around. This is just my method, works for me. As you can see, I'm left-handed and right-handed, mostly left-handed. But we live in a right-handed world, so I do everything right-handed. And so this is over about a 1/2 inch now on the top. And then we'll trim this. We'll take it to the ironing board and iron on the fleece. I will iron the fleece on. And do this to both pieces. Now we'll secure the straps to the tote. So I measure 3 inches up from the bottom of the trim. Make sure I got that here. Yep. Just mark it on both, and then we'll sew from here. I do it 4 times and then 1 down the middle. I'll be right back. All right, it's time to sew the strap to secure it. We'll do this first one, then I'll do the other 3, and then I'll show you how I mark the bag to quilt the bottom. You hear my doggy, he's squeaking his toy. Oh, he's a puppy. I just like it nice and secure, so I'm going to go around one more time, and then I'll do the middle. Forgive my peppers. I'm so sorry about that. He wants attention, and he just got attention. His daddy went out and took him outside to play. That's all right. And then right down the center, back stitch. Just to add a nice touch to the bag, I like to quilt the bottom. So I line both pieces up evenly. Oops, sorry about that. And start just beneath the bottom of the strap and just draw a line all the way across. I'm using the friction pens. You can barely see them, but I can see it good enough to sew a line. Okay. And then I just scoot the ruler over here. And draw it across. Go down 1 inch. I do it every inch. Nothing too fancy, but it does look pretty when it's done. Just like this. So I'll continue to draw my lines, and then we'll quilt it. Okay, I've gotten my lines drawn, and now I'm just going to sew with a 3 stitch length on all the lines. Okay, I'll do both of the panels, and then we'll measure the lining fabric and cut out the sides squares. So I went ahead and cut the lining fabric the same size as the tote, and now we're going to sew the pocket. Sew these right sides together along both long edges. Now press the pockets. And we'll sew a top stitch along one of the edges. There we go with the top stitch. Now we'll sew the pocket onto the lining. I put the top at 4.5 inches from the top of the lining. Hello, Lola. I like to go across the bottom twice, so I'll do that, and then we'll make some dividers. Because this is such a large pocket, I divide it up into smaller pockets. So the first one, I measure 2 inches over and make a pocket for pens. And then down the center, okay, 2 inches square on each corner. And draw a line. And cut the corners. Next, you'll take your lining and one of the outer pieces and sew them together just across the top with a 1/4 of an inch seam. When you sew the lining on, just press it and then come and lay the lining together, the body of the bag together, being very careful to line up the trim, that it's even. Because that will definitely show if it's not exactly matched when we turn the bag right side out. Okay. Then we'll sew along both sides and along the bottom, and don't sew these shut because when this is sewn together, we'll make the corners. So sew around both sides here, but not the trim, the lining or these corners. I always like to peek to make sure my seams are good. Doesn't mean it'll always turn out perfectly, but I still try. So now I'm gonna sew just a couple of inches in on either side and leave a space big enough to turn the whole bag through. And then we'll square up the corners. Okay, and then I take the corners, open them, kind of fold this part under, make this flat, and sew. Then I turn it over, sew it again. I hope you can see that good. And we'll flatten this. Let's see. And we'll do the same to the body of the bag. Hopefully you can see this a little better now. I like to just flip it over and do the other side. Make sure I got everything. Okay. Sorry for the bouncy bouncy. So on a small scale, I'm going to show an example of how to square the corners. So we've sewn the edge mock, like the bottom of the tote. Take the corners, squeeze them together like that. Then slide it under the needle and sew back and forth. I do a seam on each side just to make sure it's secure. Okay. I just did one side, you can see there's, and then we'll turn it right side out and see what it looks like. There we go. Now let's turn the bag right side out and hope that all those seams are matching. Make sure your corners are poked out nice. Okay. Pretty good there. Ah, that's good news. Alrighty. Then I will take this to the iron, fold it in, and press it, and we'll sew this closed. Okay, I've pressed the lining. I've put in a gray thread to coordinate. And just sew the bottom. Okay, the lining is all tucked into the bag, and just press along the top so that the inner fabric is not seen from the top here. And then we're going to sew a top stitch along here. So now we're going to sew the top stitch around. I marked, or measured I should say, 1 inch in. So I'm going to follow this line right here slowly all the way around, being sure not to catch that inside piece. Okay, now all we have to do is put the snap on. So I just wanted to thank you for watching today's video, and I made this one taller and a little bit wider than the other ones I've made. A customer ordered one, so this is hers. I'll show you a few more that I've made. This one's, you can see, a Tennessee Volunteer. This one's a cute fall color. This one I made with a zipper top, and I'll do a video soon with how to put a zipper on and an interior zipper pocket as well. And then we have this one. So once again, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. I'd greatly appreciate it.